All right, today what we're going to be doing is going ahead with your pinch pots and talking about your coil projects. A few things that you're going to need are your pinch pot. You're also going to be needing some new clay, and I would make sure that it's kind of fresh, pliable clay. Make sure it's not cracking. Something else you'll need is some slip and something to score your project with. And I'm choosing one of the metal projects, or one of the metal tools, not one of the wooden pieces. All right, so to begin with, you need to make sure that with your pinch pot, you are going around and a little refresher on the pinch pot. You make it into a ball. And then you want to make sure that you are using a pinching motion and moving around your pinch pot on all the different sides. So whenever you go ahead with your pinch pot, you want to make sure you are also working towards whatever your sketch and what you are intending to do. Remember that with your pinch pot, more thumb is going to if you put a little bit more pressure on your thumb, it's going to be moving it out. If you use more pressure on your fingers, that's going to be creating a taller project. So I'm going to go ahead and do a little bit more pinching here. Next, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and start with my coil. When you start rolling out the coil, as long as you are cleaning off the table, I am okay with you going ahead and rolling it out on the table. And as you're doing this, as you'll notice, one problem I'm having here is this is getting kind of oblong, kind of a little bit more of an oval. So when you start rolling this, I would recommend to start rolling it out with more of the palm of your hand. As you're rolling this, we've been using your fingers as kind of an helpful guide so that you know how thick to make them. That's also going to be the same with the width of your pinch pot and the size of your coils. For the size of your coils, I would make sure that you are going no smaller than your pinky. If they're smaller than your pinky, then they're not going to be able to support your project very well. And no larger than your index finger. If it's larger than your index finger, it's going to be a little too thick for you to really work with. So let me go ahead and start rolling this coil out a little bit further. So I'm going to take this, and remember, roll it with more of your palm than your fingers. Your fingers are going to make it dented and not really as even. I'm going to take this and roll it. When you roll this, go ahead and make sure you're rolling up and down. Don't just roll in one area. That's going to create a weak spot or a thinner spot. So as I'm doing this, I have my roll, my coil, and it looks like that is about the perfect thickness. Now what I'm going to do is I need to first of all score my project. So I'm going to go ahead and go around the edge here, around the top. And scoring should take place on both items. So I'm going to go ahead and score my coil. One thing that I've noticed on my coil is that down here at the end, it got quite a bit smaller, and I don't want to create a divot or a shorter spot. So I'm going to go ahead and kind of cut that bit off right there. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and take a little bit of slip. I don't need too much on here, so I'm going to go ahead and take that and kind of put some in between. And now I'm going to start by coiling it around. When you start coiling your project, I'm going to take this, and this is going to move up to the next level here. You can think about this in different ways. You need to think about what direction you're wanting to go. Are you wanting to go straight up? If you're wanting to go straight up, then you're going to put the coil directly on the top. If you're wanting to move this out a little bit, you're going to put it on the outer edge, not too far out, but it still needs to be able to go out a little bit. So you're going to be able to move that out in this direction. If you're wanting to move it in and close it in a little bit, then you're going to need to kind of make it smaller. So you're going to move it on the inside just a little bit. So that's going to be going at a slant this direction. All right. Now there are some other options. If you're going to be smoothing all of your coils together so that they are not visible, that's perfectly fine. However, some of you are going to want to do a little bit more of a decorative sort of option, which is really kind of a neat look also. So you can take this and move it in different directions so that you can create a coil, and part of that coil design is going to be part of your project. Right, and from there, just go ahead and continue making another coil. Go ahead and do more scoring, more slipping, and continue to add. Make sure that at all the times that you're doing this, that you are working towards whatever your goal on your sketch where you first created it. All right, happy coiling!